And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the PiGosaur Monday number 17, your weekly dose of PiGosaur Monday action. I'm of course just Live VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chats, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to the broadcast. Exclamation mark B in the chat. If you guys don't have a look back yourselves, the bracket is stacked, the bracket is live, and we are jumping into the round of 32. We're jumping into our first series, and here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss. It is ReBellioN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the American Zerg player, the red Zerg. It is Harimang. Here we go. Harimang, a player that has been relatively active when it comes to competing in ESL Open Cups for years at this point, but I have never had the luxury of casting him, never been able to really showcase him here to the Cranky Ducklings, so I'm happy to be introduced, and I'm excited. I'm curious as to how they will play things out. They are a GM. They are a GM player, of course, in the NA ladder, but more of a ladder hero more than anything else, so I'm curious how they compare to a more established pro player like ReBellioN. Coming into this, ReBellioN is going to be the heavy favorite, but we'll see what Harimang has to offer here. As if we're in the chat, predictions are open. Get your gamba going, as they will soon be closed in a couple of minutes, so place your bets while you can. And again, I'm excited to be introduced to our Zerg. Here we go. But now we do have our standard hatch gas pool, standard open here out of our Zerg player. Likewise, ReBellioN coming in with the probe scouts. ReBellioN, when it comes to how he competes and how he compares, usually very mid-game oriented. Very mid-game oriented here. Not saying he does go for all ins, but typically aggressive styles here off of a 2 or off of a 3 base economy is what we expect to see. So we'll keep an eye on ReBellioN. We'll see if he even does open up Stargate or go for something a little bit different. Has that always been there? Had to did I just never notice? There's like there's the shadow. It's a shadow of the crystal on top of the Nexus. Okay, there you go. The more you know. Has that always been there? It's fine. For now though, we are going to be settling in. And again, our eyes are going to be on the tech of choice. Based on the pylon location, I imagine Stargate, right? I'm imagining Stargate play here out of ReBellioN. There it is. Stargate is going to be thrown down. Typically, if you want to hide some tech, if we want to go for a Twilight Council or a Robo, the pylon will be thrown down a little bit further back in the main base to lure the Overlord in to get a kill. Alas, that is not the case here for ReBellioN, just going for a standard opener instead. As we're settling in, a big shout to all those in the chat. I see Complete in the chat. I see Psycons as well. BBQ as well. I see Scandicane, Gnome Chomsky, Baby Lings as well. Welcome. Good to see you all. Good to see you all in the chat. Good to see you this lovely Tuesday morning. And I'll be honest, I can't wait for tomorrow. What do we have tomorrow? Happy. We can actually have a ladder session. It's gonna be crazy. I can actually stream. I'm gonna ladder for like an hour. I'm gonna smooge. I'm gonna be like, all right, it's time for the Final Fantasy. No, I'm ready for the smooge. It's gonna be fun. Again, tomorrow evening I do have my kind of schedule free, so I should be casting in the morning, and then from there I can actually have like a nice, like semi-chill ladder session. I can just calm down. I can enjoy myself. We can all smoosh together. It's gonna be beautiful. As of now, Oracle. It's going to be the Oracle first here at ReBellioN, getting a third base up and running as well, soon to be thrown down. Meanwhile, nothing too crazy out of Harimang either. It's going to be joining up. And again, I mean, I should emphasize, I've never casted Harimang before, so I don't know if they want to play macro. I don't know how cheesy they are. I don't know their tendencies, so I'm going to be introduced for the first time. So far, everything looking normal from both sides. As we are droning up, saturating, getting queens in position, spores as well. Oracle does hit the natural base and does get one, does get two drones. Two drones going to be going down. Oracle does back off. So far, good damage. Likewise, Lings, they poke in across the map, but they shouldn't get much done here, as Adepts, they are going to be deflected at the third. Weaving killing one Adept, not bad. One Adept does go down. Harimang does defend. Back across the map. Ling just poking, not really doing any major damage here. Follow-up is standard Forge and a Twilight Council into +1 and Blink Stalkers. ReBellioN going for a standard follow-up here. Again, I expected him to be a little bit more assertive coming into the mid-game, but that is not the case, at least not yet. Everything looking like normal meta PvZ. Back at home, we have a bit of a later Roach Warren. This is a 4:40 Roach Warren timing out of Harimang, so a little bit later. But again, I mean, there's nothing to really threaten him, so he should be able to get away with it perfectly safe and sound. Gases are being taken, and no early Evo Chamber, no early +1. So we imagine this is going to be a commitment into Roach Ravager, then into Lair Tech as well. So we are settling in. Our eyes are on ReBellioN as he's being active with these oracles, divvying in between the bases. Again, looking for a way in. Lings, they hit the third. Alas, shield battery is not yet done. Yeah, shield battery is not complete. Adept gets surrounded. Oracle races back. The Oracle is in position to defend. ReBellioN, he holds across the map. Gets, oh, not quite a drone. Takes a lot of hits. Oh my god, takes a lot of hold damage. Has to pull away. Has to pull out. With that Harimang, he is defending well here and just waiting for his tech of choice. There it is, +1 range. Again, emphasizing that this is going to be commitment into Roach Ravager. Hydra Den now on the way. If you can get away with it, ideally in this matchup, you do want to avoid Roach production, especially if we're headed towards a longer game state. Just go straight into Hydras instead, into Hive Tech, into Lunkers, if at all possible. Again, we'll see if Harimang can get there. For now, just getting another base, droning. Pretty passive play here out of our Zerg player, not going to lie. And it's a little bit risky just because we do see that Harimang, even though he has a Roach Warren, look at the army supply. He has 8 Lings. He has not made a single Roach. If ReBellioN were to push, I mean, he could get some damage done. He can trade well. We can see Ling Hydra now in production. Looks like we are skipping Roaches. We did not even invest into Roach speed, so this was just a safety Roach Warren, and we are skipping it entirely here, going Ling Hydra into the infestation bit, into Lunkers. Anyway, here we go, ReBellioN. Poking forward, takes down an active tumor. Oh, stasis goes off. Nice stasis. So far, trading well. Shaving off Lings, not losing a Stalker. Another stasis is going to be on the way. Oh, we're going to get baited. And nice control so far out of Harimang. Oh, Hydra does overextend. One Hydra goes down. One of the Queens. Clutch Transfuse. Clutch Transfuse, keeping the Queens alive. Another stasis behind this. Alas, it is not triggered. Not yet. ReBellioN does reinforce. Behind this, going for delayed glaives after blink. Wait, what? This I don't think I've seen before. Lings, I do catch some of these Stalkers. Alas, ooh, even an Oracle going to be going down. ReBellioN slipping up a little bit here. And it looks like he's going for 3-base all-in. Yeah, he is. 8th gateway on the way. It is going to be 3-base all-in, but the gateway is going to be denied. And I've never seen an 8-gate all-in with glaives as a reinforcement. I charge, yes, but glaives, never. I'll be honest. I have not seen this transition before. There's the recall, one Stalker left behind. Nice skin up here out of Harimang. Shuts down the army. And ReBellion's in trouble. ReBellioN, he is in trouble. He's getting to +2, working towards glaives. Again, this glaives hold-up is an interesting one. It's just a little bit weird because typically, because you're warping in so many Stalkers, you have excess minerals. And what do you do with that? You make zealots. Lesser glaives. I wonder, I'll be honest, I wonder if that's a mistake. Like, I wonder if that's like a misclick. Like, I'll be honest. I mean, we'll see with the warp in. We'll see if he does warp in Adepts or Zealots. And just going down, he gets 3. Ooh. 3, so it'll be 4. Chasing out what little is left. Massive loss here for Harimang. He overextends. Yeah, the Hydras are exposed. Massive losses. Ay, ay, ay. Letting out so many Hydras. And with that, ReBellioN, he does hold. Behind this, okay, it is going to be Glaive Adepts as a follow-up. It is getting a 4th base. Would have loved a proxy gateway. There comes charge. And we'll see what this army gets done here. Again, the Glaive Adepts don't really scale well like into a longer game and a head-on fight against Hydras and against Lurkers. But, I mean, they can harass, I guess. They kind of have their place a little bit. Against Lings, sure. But, I mean, so do Chargelots. Just saying. A little bit cheaper as well. Lings, meanwhile, hit the 4th. Army's out of position. 4th base, it may just go down. It is fully surrounded. Lurkers in position. Do we have any detection? No detection. There's Revelation. But last, too many Lurkers to defend. Meanwhile, the Nexus does go down. Massive pickoff. ReBellioN is in trouble. He has to commit, but he cannot push into those Lurkers. The Lurkers are too good, but he does get into the mineral line. Well, drones to get away, but instead we go for the expansion. Adepts a shade in towards the natural. Oof. Workers going down. Brutal damage. 7 drone kills, shading in towards the main. And ReBellioN, he's finally popping off. Catching out more drones, shading into the main base, catching more workers as well. 13 drones going down, 4th base being retaken. And Harimang is being pulled apart. Not like this. Not like this. As Adepts are cleaned up, and how dare I doubt the Adepts map? You know, I'm like, oh, they don't really scale well into a long. Nah, they always scale well. They're Adepts, they're cracked, they're crazy. Ay. I'm still not entirely convinced that we couldn't have achieved this damage with, you know, Zealot Rumbites and Zealot Warpins, but it's fine. Ooh, as Adepts get caught out, massive wave of Lunkers on the way, 9 Lurkers in production. Harimang is still holding. That was some good economic damage. ReBellioN does take a lead, but if only had the 4th base. Behind this, double Robo into Massive Mortal. I mean, now would have been a decent moment to go into something like Stargate and like Fleet Beacon and work towards Skytoss. Speaking of, there we go. Fleet Beacon's on the way. ReBellioN is getting ready. He's getting ready for that Skytoss. Likewise, has to rely on his ground army for the time being. Again, he's done with Glaive Adepts. Now he's embracing those charge loss. +3s on the way. And he will have a triple Robo production, triple Immortal production here from the Protoss. Now the game should slow down, especially with a high lurker count. As we can see here, 11 lurkers. 11 lurkers are in position. As long as we're able to rotate, then ReBellioN should not be able to break through. Likewise, lurkers, they do harass. A lurker towards the 4th, 2 towards the 3rd. Mining is being denied. But there's a cannon in position. Cannon will clean up. Main armies, they clash. So far, diving on the main army. Do you get 1, 2 lurkers? 2, 3, 4. All the lurkers going to be going down. Big overextension by Harimang. Yeah, fighting with only half his army. Does get caught out. Brutal losses. ReBellioN is holding his own. He does take a lead. At this point, we'll say he takes the lead. Likewise, lurkers get cleaned up. Despite the harass, only 5 probes went down this game. Barely any economic damage. ReBellioN, he defends well. And this time he's getting out of hand. How many Immortals? Too many. He's got 5, soon to be 8 Immortals. Likewise, Mothership is on the way as well to support. This is turning into a terrifying army. And the lurker count just isn't there. We have how many? We have 12. Now 14, soon to be even more. 17 lurkers on the way, much better here. But the army, the support is still lacking for Harimang. This army is still very vulnerable. What I'm referring to here, 1, the drone count. Drone count is very low, so we can't sustain ourselves. And likewise, the Ling Hydra support here is almost non-existent. In a head-on fight, I have to favor ReBellioN. Does rally in an Archon though. Because they come into support, the Archon will survive. He's also here for Rumbai, getting 7 drone kills. Oh, once again, some bad pathing. And the Archon is gonna go down. Nice pick up here by Harimang. Again, a bit of miscontrol by ReBellioN. Pushing into all these lurkers not going to be easy, but because of the low supply for Harimang, the army is very centralized. Very centralized here towards the north. Meanwhile, the 3rd base, the 5th base, very exposed, natural as well. More lurkers now on the way, but ReBellioN is going to be the first to max, and he is now transitioning into Skytoss. I do think he can still be active though. I would love to see him rotate between these bases and hit this southern base especially. I do feel like ReBellioN has potential, but for now is just chilling back at home, focusing on defense. Harimang trying to keep up. Now, Harimang, he is slowly taking a supply lead here, and this army, what is really lacking at this point, outside of a stronger economy, of course, is going to be Vipers. Without Vipers, there's no secure way to actually lock down any of these key units. So Vipers will give Harimang a more kind of assertive army here, especially as there are no High Templar. I mean, my apologies, there are. I was going to say, well, a High Templar without feedback, so no Storm is done in 10 seconds, and I mean, this army is terrifying. But despite that, without spellcasters, I'm not too confident here in this force of Harimang. We'll see though. As it's up to 25 lurkers. The Skytoss is not quite there. And again, this time it's the northern base that's exposed. The mass army sits with the south. ReBellioN poking in exactly where Harimang is ready. Exactly where he's most secure. Last ReBellioN he does have to rotate. Harimang now maxed out. Still with a pure Hydra Lurker army, which is, again, leaving much to be desired. As the Tempest count gets higher, this army becomes more obsolete. And Harimang, he has to tech. Does he have a Spire? He does not. He does no Spire. No Spire, no Vipers. Is moving in. Tempest, they can just rain down on this army. There we go. Massive slow zone. Yeah, Storms here popping up. Tempest, they can keep pushing. Now ReBellioN playing it safe. Let's play it safe. Meanwhile, we have a Hydra Lurker going for a big counter attack. Ooh, Revelation goes off. ReBellioN so far is holding. Is holding on. A couple of Lurkers remaining. As the base goes down. Harimang achieving some damage here. Takes down a base. Pushing forward. Does not quite get a Tempest. Oof. Storms do pop off. He's got one Storm left. That's the final Storm. He takes out all the Hydras. Yeah, Hydras, they do crumble. And now the Tempest, they can just rain down on this army. Actually, he just avoids it. Just avoids the main army. Catches out more Hydras. Slow zone pops up. We can see Harimang trying to catch reinforcements, pushing into the natural. And ReBellioN doesn't turn around. He does not. He keeps going. He just keeps pushing in. Reinforcements will be enough. Lurker's trying to come in first round. Hydras as well. Oh, God. But the problem is that this main army cannot be dealt with. Hydra's trying to sneak up on it. And they do try it. So far, ReBellioN kites back, defends back at home. Now you can focus on the main push, and ReBellioN has just been trading so efficiently, and still no Vipers and still no Spire. We're kind of stuck on this mid-tier army here for Harimang. There is potential if he can get under the Tempest, but that's a big if. He has to rely on ReBellioN making mistakes. ReBellioN, he does pull away. Base is denied. From here, he can't commit. Diving in the army, massive storms. Mothership goes down. But Harimang, you can see just him plummeting supply. And there is detection. Storms are insane. Zealots, they charge in. There are observers. And GG gets called as Harimang. He runs out of steam. And ReBellioN, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. ReBellioN, again, able to get into his ideal Skytos composition. I was impressed in the mid-game with Harimang. I do feel like the mid-game was his strongest point, where he was able to build up, take some decent trades, and, of course, stabilize and survive. Unfortunately, just as the game went on, he just got outscaled. He just got outscaled over time by the Skytos, by the composition of ReBellioN. And Harimang was just kind of left in the dust there. And part of it also was because he didn't really have much of an economy. Remember, he stayed on a very low drone count for a long time as well. I say very low drone count. Part of that was because of the Adept Harass. True. Like, the Adept Harass, it didn't help. Did not help. As did lose a lot of drones in the process. And with that, GG. ReBellioN does take a lead. And now we're jumping into game number 2. Let's go. Jumping into game 2. And we'll see where this takes us. Is Harimang a new player? He is not. He is a player that I've never casted before on this channel, but he's been kind of like a ladder hero for a couple of years at this point. I believe his first time competing in an online tournament was ESL America's number 198, which is back in 2023. So it's been a couple of years. But here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, leading the series 1-0. It is ReBellioN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Zerg player, the Red Zerg. Down in the series, it is Harimang. go. So yeah, he has been around for a while. I just never had the luxury of casting him in these open cups, so I'm able to do so for the first time. And yeah, so far pretty impressed. Like, he was able to hold his own for, again, the first half of that game. Unfortunately, because the Adeptus never quite recovered economically, so he never really had a chance to properly max out and to tech up. You know, I was being a little bit critical of him not having a Spire or not going into Vipers, but at the same time, he just didn't really have the economy for it. So it was just a really rough position there for Harimang as the game progressed, as he was just, again, being just outscaled by the Sky Toss, by the Tempest, by the Storm of ReBellioN. But I'm curious here to see if ReBellioN will, again, slow things down and take Harimang a little bit more seriously. The build of ReBellioN was wild, and it did feel a little bit experimental from ReBellioN. I'm referring to the 8-gate 3-base all-in with fast Glaive Adepts. It was crazy. It was a crazy choice, and I guess the Glaive Adepts did kind of like, they did their part. They did their part, but still a shaky build or a shaky setup nonetheless. Specifically, I'm referring to the fact that the 8-gate all-in was denied initially when the proxy gateway was killed. Remember, the proxy gateway was shut down by Harimang, so it would completely shut it down and force ReBellioN to expand. As initially it was going to be a 3-base all-in, then he was forced out of it. But now we are going to be joining, saturating our bases, building up. Building up. And we'll see if Harimang does kind of deviate here. Again, last game was like pretty standard when it comes to his playstyle. He was just going for a safety Roach Warren straight into Hydra tech, if at all possible. Just Ling Hydra. Meanwhile, once again, Stargate play out of ReBellioN. Okay, standard opener so far. Getting to the Stargate. Likewise, Harimang also taking his third. Third base on the way. And we'll see if ReBellioN does mix it up from here. I was about to say, he beat me to it. I was about to say a Void Ray opener is still very much so viable for ReBellioN, and he does go for the Void Ray. Let's go. Now with this to go, hunt down the Overlords. Hunt down the Overlords, hide the tech. Show us what you got. ReBellioN, I would imagine, wants to spice things up here. Pylon gets thrown down. Do we decide to hide the tech? And if so, what are we hiding, if at all? You have my attention, ReBellioN. Have my attention. Overlord is going to be hunted down. Overlord does spot at least extra pylons. As ReBellioN will first expand. Getting his third. Third base on the way. Overlord is killed. From here, Harimang forced to pull back those Overlords. Has to consolidate back at home. And we'll see what ReBellioN throws down. Does it go for a Robo, a Twilight Council? Does it go for a Forge? Where we drop it? Oh, okay. I mean, that's another one. Going for the Twilight. Sorry, he's going for the Fleet Beacon here into Tempest production. I would imagine a fast Tempest here out of ReBellioN. He could go into fast Carrier. True, that's also an option. Here we go. Fleet Beacon all the way. Second Stargate. We're committing here. There is a build where you go Fleet Beacon into Mothership with a ground-based composition, or Fleet Beacon into like 2 Tempests with 1 Stargate into ground. But with a second Stargate, looks like we're committing. Looks like we will commit a little bit harder here into that Sky Toss. Harimang in the dark. So far, pokes in. Doesn't quite confirm. Tempest production has begun. Safety Roach Warden on the way. That was around the 430 mark. This is finishing up. And Harimang still does not quite know what's going on. He's droning and saturating, getting his own lair. Oracle dips in. Up. Gets a drone. Gets a worker. More Tempest on the way. Now, I'm curious if we're going to go into Mass Tempest, into Skytoss, or if we do switch into a ground-based army as well. Which is typically how this is done. Into a Twilight Council, Forge, Robo. Speaking of, Forge now on the way. And we are getting ready for that ground support. As we're even investing into the Tempest upgrade. Let's go. Interesting. Working towards tectonic destabilizers. Likewise, third base getting saturated. Oracle dips in. Here we go, the Tempest are revealed. Now, thankfully, early scout. Ling was in position. Harimang immediately Spire. Spire gets thrown down. He already has Hydras and Massing. He will have some anti-air, and he should be able to hold on. It's going to be on ReBellioN to make sure he doesn't get caught out. Doesn't get caught out in the open by those Hydras. Hydras have arrived already, as Harimang, he was already working in that direction. And Harimang, his cutting work is at 66. He's pushing. Uh-oh. ReBellion's in trouble. ReBellioN, he is in trouble. He's getting caught out. One Tempest gonna fall. Massive pickoff. And remember, ReBellioN, he went up to what? Up to 5 Tempests? Before any kind of ground support, which means he's in danger. We'll take down the expansion, that is true, but he has to race back home. Does he recall? No, he commits. He commits into the main. Ling Hydra rocking up. There's nothing to defend. There's just nothing here. There's 2 Sentry. There's a Void Ray. A handful of Adepts. There's the recall back home. And with the recall, the Tempest should hold. Tempest should hold on. Next is taking a lot of damage. Harimang does overextend here. I want to say this attack was good, but once he saw the recall, I feel like that's when we should have retreated, as this now becomes an expensive loss for Harimang. Bearing in mind, ReBellioN saved all of his probes. He pulled away, didn't lose a single worker. Oh, here comes that second wave. Harimang still not droning, still on a 3-base economy. ReBellioN stuck at home, building up Void Rays and working towards Archons and Storm. But heavily reliant here on Tempest. I just dive in. Tempest, they have to kite back. And they have to try to kite back here. So far, trading well. Yeah, the choke point is brutal. And with that, ReBellioN, he's going to hold on. Hydra still step forward. They get 1 Void Ray. Going for the expansion. They will not get it. ReBellioN holds. ReBellioN, he holds once again. We have 14 Corruptors on the way. It's actually going to work out quite well, given that ReBellioN has been investing into Void Rays, but not too many. I believe he has 3. Yeah, 3 Void Rays. Not too many. Getting to pulse on air attack, Robo, charge just not finishing. Into Archons. Into, I would hope, Storm. As this almost reminds me of like 2021. Like the Void Ray Skytoss meta of Star. It was a dark time. It was a very dark time. Void Ray to Skytoss. This is very reminiscent of what it used to be, where we would open Carrier, then into, sorry, it'd be Void Ray opener into Carrier, into just mass Skytoss with like Storm support or Colossus support. There were some players that would like rush into Bay into Colossus. Either or. And then just turtle and max out. Of course, a Void Ray openers are almost killed due to patches, due to nerfs, of course. Lings, they flood in. No Storm! Oh my god. High Templar, they go down. No Archons whipping in either. Massive pickups. And Harimang, he has done it. He breaks through. Again, Storm finishing up in 3 seconds after the High Templar had gone down. And with that, the army's going to crumble. Harimang, he breaks the expansion, takes down the 4th base. Takes down the Tempest. A stutter stepping in. Stutter stepping in. Pushing into the natural. Knocking down the net. And there's just nothing here. There's nothing left here for ReBellioN. Going for a Desperation Style. The counterattack does get a mineral line. Drones are going down. But alas, Harimang is looking to force that ace match. Mate, you want to rush Tempest me? Nah, mate. Not here. Not this time. And GG gets caught. Harimang ties up the series 1-1. We're going to the ace match. GG. We are going all the way to game 3. And again, like, the build here from ReBellioN was just really bold. It almost felt like just overconfidence. So typically when you go for this kind of style, you don't make that many Tempests, not that quickly at least. Again, he had gone up to like 5, almost 6 Tempests, committing real hard. And because of that, what that meant was it delayed his ground toss. It delayed like the ground support that he did desperately need, especially when it came to the Hydra counterattack. We saw they did survive it at least, but alas, still it was a really tough defense there from ReBellioN. He wasn't able to stabilize either. Everything else was delayed tech-wise. With that, GG. GG, well played. We're getting into our ace match. Let's go. We're getting to our ace match, and we'll see how this story ends. We'll see how this story concludes. Here we go. As we're loading into the final game of the series. And again, so far, Harimang impressing. Is looking impressive here. And we'll see if we can claim the series. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss. It is ReBellioN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the American Zerg player, the red Zerg. Tying up the series 1-1, it is Harimang. Again, casting him for the first time. I'm experiencing Harimang for the very first time here. And so far, has been impressing me, has been leaving an impression, definitely with his play. Showing that you cannot, you know, clown on him. You can't have these like weird quirky builds, like they're not going to work on Harimang. He can punish, he will punish. And we'll see if ReBellioN can bring it back. Again, like, he doesn't have to go for like these weird like 8-gate all-in into glaives or like the Tempest Rush. Like, Papi, just calm down. Just slow down, Papi, slow down. Let's go. Probe dips in. Gets eyes on Harimang. So far, Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener. We're loading into, of course, one of the smaller maps of the map pool. Very aggressive. Very intense. So ReBellioN is taking his natural. Just gate expand into Cybercore. Going to be settling in. From here, my eyes have to be on ReBellioN at this point. Based on his builds in Game 1 and Game 2, he has done anything but play standard. And that trend may just continue. I don't think he needs to, like, to win this series. I think we just, like, play standard and we should be okay, but nah. That's not ReBellioN. That's not who he be. What is he? He's an animal, Pat. He's an animal. Let's go. Harimang is droning, saturating his bases. Zoning ReBellioN away. Meanwhile, speaking of aggressive build, it continues. Let's go. This is still a little bit more standard, though. It is going to be a Twilight Council opener. This could be for a DT-based opener. It could be for Glaive Adepts. We'll keep an eye on the gases to see how hard ReBellioN commits. Now, staying in gases here, if he doesn't pull out, this is traditionally going to be a Dark Shrine. It's going to be Robo into Dark Shrine. But there is a niche build, and I don't want to discount niche builds when it comes to ReBellioN, where he could stay 3 and 3, and he could throw down 6 gates and go for a 6-gate glaive all in. Speaking of, yeah, I mean, there's glaives, but he pulls out. It's going to be a late pull out, and I don't see a, okay, I was going to say I don't see a Robo now gets thrown down. He does pull out. It's going to be 4-gate glaives. It's going to be 4-gate glaive adepts. If he had stayed in, we could have seen 6 into a 2-base all-in, but he pulls out, so going to be standard. Now again, this is not an all-in. This is designed to get damage done, designed to cripple the Zerg player, and then allow the Protoss to get ahead and take a third. And I'm curious to see, Harimang, how do you handle Glaive Adepts? How well can you defend? We saw that Harimang did struggle against Glaive Adepts in game 1, but it wasn't a standard Glaive build. It was an 8-gate, you know, blink all in into Glaive Adepts. It was very different. So far, he's walling up. Throws down the Roach Warren. And we'll see if he can get his SimCity going in time. So far, decently timed Roach Warren. Likewise, gateways are finishing up. Adepts are amassing. Harimang is droning quite heavily, actually. He's going to be droning up to, what, 44? Oh, no, 42. Gets a spore. Not bad. Getting his spores. Cutting workers at around 40 is the ideal. And Glaives is about to finish. Here comes the push. Here comes the warp in. Harimang doesn't quite scout this. Spots a handful of it. There we go. Now he knows. Now he knows what's going on. We need roaches. We need roaches. We need SimCity. We need a full wall off. As there we go. Evo Chambers on the way. Lings are amassing. I believe that should be a full wall. And ReBellioN only has access to the third. So far, good response here by Harimang. He responds well. Collapses on the army. Adepts, they do try to shade in, but again, the wall is up and running. The wall is solid. Lings will have a hard time trading, but the shade is late. It's going to be a later shade. Harimang defending well. He's holding. Forces back the Adepts. Let's force him back. Ooh, as he does let it finish, the Evo Chamber does complete. He's cut off from his own bases. Here's him diving in. Adepts to hit the third base under fire. And things are getting chaotic. Start getting chaotic here. Adepts pulling away. Prism denied access to the main. And Harimang, he holds. Does hold behind this ReBellioN. He's expanding. Now what's important to remember, this was not all-in, so ReBellioN, he's working on the next step. He's working on immortal production. He was hoping for some drone kills though. Some drone kills. He did trade well against the Lings. He got 33 Ling kills and 1 Roach. It is a decent trade. He also forced Harimang to kill his own Evo Chamber here as well, which has also lost resources. But Harimang is not in the worst position. Yeah, he's okay. He's okay. The Baneless is an interesting choice. This shows that most likely would be sticking with Ling Bane Roach Ravager, not taking into Hydras. We'll see if that's the case, as the lair is going to finish. Lair's about to finish. Lair is delayed for Harimang, so that means that Roach Speed is delayed as well, which means that a counterattack is non-existent. So ReBellioN, he still maintains map control, and he's going for a second wave, a second push. Oh, and Harimang has been droning. Oh, he's in danger. He is in danger here. ReBellioN pushing in. He has a second wave, and Harimang is not ready for this. One Queen goes down. Queen falls, the expansion as well. There's no saving this. There's no saving the base. Harimang getting caught with his pants down. He's going to try to engage, but again, he just cannot contest against this army. He has no Ravagers. He has barely any Roaches. And ReBellioN, he's done it. He breaks through. Initially, the defense was okay, but Harimang, who's just not ready for this. Not ready. GG gets called, and ReBellioN will take the series 2-1. Advancing on to the round 16. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations, ReBellioN, who will claim the series. But a shout out to Harimang, because again, he did not look bad at all in this series in game 1. He survived the early game aggression. He was able to survive the initial 3-base all-in and shut it down. In game 2, he was able to, of course, punish the Tempest Rush. And here in game 3, he did defend against the initial Glavenor build. It was the follow-ups, though, that he was not ready for. Again, Harimang, he was droning. He was stuck droning. He was stuck teching. He was not ready for a second attack that soon. He was caught off guard. GG. GG, well played. Was caught off guard. With that, ReBellioN does claim the series, and the question becomes, does he have an opponent? What exactly is going on? Let's find out. !B.